Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TGC Talks. I'm your host, Bhupendra Singh. Over the last few episodes, we have spoken extensively about trees, their impact on turf. Today, we talk about something even more fundamental. Because before trees create problems, before they alter microclimate, before they enter legal conversation, there is one moment that decides everything: the moment they are planted. Tree planting is often treated as a simple act, a positive act, an environmental act, but on a golf course, tree planting is something else entirely. It is the most permanent design decision you can make. Turf can be changed, bunkers can be reshaped, drainage can be upgraded, even greens can be rebuilt. But once trees mature, they cannot be easily moved, undone, or ignored. And yet, tree planting is one of the least planned decisions on many golf courses. That's what today's episode is about. Let's begin by addressing a very common misunderstanding. Tree planting on golf course is often treated as landscaping. Landscaping focuses on visual appeal, symmetry, density, short-term aesthetics. Golf course design focuses on playability, strategy, turf health, maintenance, sustainability, long-term evolution. These are not the same objectives. A garden can be redesigned every few years. A golf course must function for decades or even centuries. In landscaping, empty space feels uncomfortable. In golf design, empty space may be intentional. When trees are planted to fill gaps, they often fill the wrong gaps. This is why copying urban landscaping principles onto golf courses leads to conflict. Trees placed too close to greens, dense planting along both sides of fairways, blocked airflow, narrow strategy, suppressed turf recovery. A golf course is not a park, it is a sporting landscape. Trees must support the game, not overwhelm it. Now let's address a very important question. Who should decide where trees goes on a golf course? The honest answer is no single person should. Tree placement on a golf course is a multidisciplinary decision. Let's look at the roles involved. Golf course architect understands strategy, shot values, sight lines, risk-reward balance. Tree influence how a hole is played. Therefore, they must align with the design intent. Agronomist turfgrass specialists understand sunlight requirements, airflow needs, root zone behavior, recovery capacity. Trees directly affect turf performance. Ignoring agronomy during planting creates future failure. Arborist understands growth habit, canopy structure, root behavior, long-term stability. Trees are living systems, not static objects. Environmental planning advisor understands legal compliance, native species relevance, ecological sensitivity. Tree planting is not only a design decision, it is also a regulatory and long-term responsibility. Yet in many projects, tree placement decisions are delegated to a nursery supplier, a garden contractor, a landscape architect, or a well-meaning committee. When this happens, the result is often visually pleasing in short term, but strategically damaging in the long run. I have seen this repeatedly, particularly in real estate-linked golf projects, where the same landscape architect designing residential or community landscapes is also asked to design the golf course tree layout. This is a high-risk approach, not immediately, but over the next 10 or 20 years. A landscape architect without a deep understanding of the game of golf cannot realistically foresee how tree placement will affect strategy and shot values, turf health and recovery, airflow and microclimate, maintenance sustainability, and long-term playability. What looks elegant on paper today can quietly become a structural problem a decade later. This is not a question of intent or talent, it is a question of domain knowledge. Golf courses are specialized sporting landscapes. They cannot be designed using generic landscape principles alone. That is why tree placement on golf courses must be coordinated across disciplines and with long-term vision, not delegated as a standalone landscaping task. This may sound uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. Planting trees on a golf course requires expertise. Good intentions are not qualifications. Many tree planting decisions are made by people who understand plants, understand landscaping, understand aesthetics, but do not understand turfgrass physiology, drainage behavior, airflow dynamics, long-term maintenance impact. On golf courses, this gap becomes expensive. Key qualifications that matter: understanding of the game of golf, understanding of golf course agronomy, ability to read sun angles through seasons, understanding of route competition zones, knowledge of irrigation and drainage interaction, awareness of future pruning limitations, familiarity with tree laws. Tree planting without these considerations is not environmental stewardship, it is deferred conflict. Every tree planted on a golf course should answer three questions. Why is this tree here? Is it framing a hole, guiding play, acting as a wind buffer, protecting safety zones? If there is no clear purpose, the tree does not belong. Where should this tree be? Not where it fits today, but where it will exist at full maturity. Consider canopy projection, root expansion radius, shade footprint, airflow interruption. Trees should never be planted based on sapling size. How many trees are enough? More trees do not mean better golf. In many cases, fewer well-placed trees create stronger identity. Excessive planting leads to uniformity and suffocation. Absence of trees is also a design decision. Golf architecture values contrast, open versus framed, exposed versus sheltered. Trees should enhance that contrast. One of the biggest mistakes in tree planting is present bias. Saplings look harmless. They grow slowly at first. But trees does not stop growing when design intent is achieved. A tree planted 6 meters from green today may influence that green permanently in 15 to 20 years. When planning plantation, the real question is not how will this look next year. It is how will this behave in 2045 or 2075. This requires imagination, discipline, and restraint. Tree planting should be treated like a 30 or 50-year infrastructure design, not a seasonal beautification project. Tree planting also creates a legal responsibility. Every tree planted today may become protected tomorrow, may require permission to manage later, may trigger compensatory obligations. This is why tree placement must align with long-term legal reality. Random planting increases future regulatory burden. Responsible planting reduces future conflict with authorities. Well-planned golf courses treat trees as a part of system. They operate with a tree master plan, phased planting schedules, regular review cycles, integration with turf drainage and irrigation plans. Good tree planning anticipates growth, respects airflow, protects strategy, reduces maintenance stress. Trees and turf then work together, not against each other. Before I close, let me leave you with few questions. Is every native tree suitable for a golf course? Are exotic trees always a mistake or just poorly understood? Should tree species selection be treated like turf selection, scientifically, not emotionally? Do we ever evaluate how trees will behave at full maturity before planting it? How do we decide what species truly belong on a golf course? Should tree planting decisions be approved with the same seriousness as greens renovation? Think about it. Share your thoughts in the comments. In the next episode of TGC Turf Talks, we'll talk about choosing the right trees, species selection for sustainable golf courses, not for today, no, but for the next 50 years. Thank you for watching. I am Bhupendra Singh. This is TGC Talks. See you in the next episode.